I'm Christos Dimitriadis, International Vice President of ISACA, and I'm here in San Francisco, California for the ISACA World Congress Insights 2012. This year we have the honor, the explicit honor, to have as a VIP guest from Europe, Dr. Udo Helbrecht, the Executive Director of the European Network and Information Security Agency. Udo, ICT has become a very important part of our daily lives. It has become the backbone of our economy nowadays. And I would like to ask you, which is the role of ENISA in this situation in Europe?
ENISA is a European agency for IT security. We were established in 2004, and our main role is to advise the Commission in political processes, to support the member states, for example, it's establishing computer emergency response teams. And we are looking into technologies and upcoming threats and writing papers about this, which are published on our website.
Udo, you mentioned threats which have no boundaries. It's an international case that we have to address from an information security perspective. What is ENISA recently doing about that in terms of cybersecurity in Europe?
We are looking into different things, for example, in the area of cloud computing. We look into upcoming risks, also into chances. We are also discussing in our papers how you deal with service level agreements, how to increase IT security level in cloud computing, also connected to privacy and trust issues. And other things, for example, we are doing is exercises in the European area to improve communication on this topic.
Can you please clarify a little bit about these pan-European exercises?
Well, if you look back, we had in 2007 in Europe the Estonian case, where the question was how to prevent this in the future. So we did a lot of effort in critical infrastructure protection, and in the end the idea was to have a pan-European exercise. So we did this for the first time in 2010 in our office in Athens, in Greece, where we put together all the member states, observers, and really tried to exercise different scenarios and how to communicate in a crisis between governmental thirds and other institutions around Europe. And in the end it was a very successful exercise, because now we are able to communicate in a crisis and to escalate the things and to work together very closely on a European level.
From a global perspective, are there similar initiatives?
Well, we had from this good cooperation between the US and Europe. We had a pan-European and US working group with the Department of Homeland Security. And so in last November 2011, we had an exercise with participants from the Department of Homeland Security. We did it in Brussels with a lot of member states, and I think it was very successful from our ENISA viewpoint, because we are trying to establish a governance structure and to help each other on a global level if there are threats either in Europe or in the US. And I think this is a very good global cooperation, which we will continue in the future.
Very important initiatives, Udo. You also mentioned the cloud earlier on, and I can recall that ENISA published a paper back in 2009 on cloud computing, and then another one in April 2012 about managing contracts and the whole life cycle of cloud computing. Can you tell us a little bit more about the work of ENISA in this area?
Well, this shows on one hand that we try very early to look into technologies or business models. So we published a lot of papers in the meantime. We also worked together with the Cloud Security Alliance, for example. So the basic point is that if you have today your business, your processes, your intellectual property, your company data, that if you go into a cloud, you think about certain things about what kind of service level agreements do you have, how to prevent lock-in with the vendor, how to be sure where your data is located, which legal framework you have if your data is, for example, in a member state in Europe, in Asia, or in the US. So the important point is, to say it very easy, you should know what you do if you go into the cloud. And therefore, we have put together a checklist for companies. We have recommendations for governmental clouds in sensitive areas. So overall, the message is, if you go into the cloud, you can have support from us or the Cloud Security Alliance. And in the future, I think we can also do something together with ISACA, where we can see what can we do in these new business models to improve the benefit and sufficiency for the company.
Very well. International cooperation is very important, as I understood. What about the cooperation between governments and the industry?
Well, we have in Europe an approach, traditionally what we call public-private partnership. We from ENISA concentrate on the telecommunication sector. It's on one hand a very competitive sector because you have low margins, but on the other hand, it's important to work together. For example, if you talk about the exercises we now want to make with the next step, cooperation with the industry, because if you have an incident on a broader scale on the internet, then you have to work together between governments and industry, in this sense the providers. And we also did something in Europe on data breach notification, which is important from the citizen perspective. This means if an incident happens somewhere, that it's reported, that lessons are learned and measures are taken. So in this sense, we work closely together and try to improve this public-private partnership in these specific areas.
Udo, it's been an honor having you with us. Thank you very much for giving us such a specific insight on what's going on in Europe. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for being here, and all the best.
Thank you.